Well, let's meet our competitors in women's freestyle wrestling. Wearing the blue, a three-time WCWA All-American and 2020 Senior National Champion. She hails from Colorado Springs, Colorado, representing the NYAC. Remember to hashtag Believe in Louive. She is Lauren Louive. And her opponent wearing the red, a two-time Junior World Team member and a 2021 NCWWA National Champion. She hails from Mount Vernon, Washington, and she represents Titan Mercury Wrestling Club and Empire Wrestling Club. Give it up, wrestling fans, for Brenda Reyna.
Both Brenda, Reyna, and Lauren Louive come out here just walking. I mean, just serious, ready to do battle. I mean, you look at women's wrestling over the past decade, Coach Slay, and it's crazy how much women's wrestling has grown.
Well, a lot of people know this, but those that don't, that women's wrestling started in the Olympics in 2004 in Athens, and then clearly we had it in Beijing in 2008. 2012 in London, 2016 in Rio, and then we're going to have it again, this summer, 2021 in Tokyo. And I would just say that our ladies, they qualified all 6 for the Olympics, and you can make an argument this is one of the best freestyle women's teams that we've ever had. But they need to go prove it, though, now.
Yeah. Great single leg and finish there by Reyna, too.
And they did prove it. How much, Coach Slay did Helen Maroulis win in that gold medal? What did that do for women's wrestling in the United States?
I think Helen winning in Rio was monumental, ginormous for women's wrestling, because it showed that an American female can become the best on the planet in the sport of wrestling. And so now these little girls growing up, they can start wrestling 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 and realize that they too have an opportunity to become the best in the world.
Yeah, because all 3 of us have 3 daughters.
We all got girls. hey,
all 3 of us got 3 girls and 1 boy.
Between the 3 of us.
I don't know how that worked out.
9 girls. Holy.
But we had Helen down to Charlotte. She spent some time with my family, and I can't tell you what that did for my girls, seeing someone they could look up to be a hero like that.
And speaking of competitors, these 2 going at it here tonight, both in on the legs, great motion, doing a good job hand fighting, pushing and pulling. So a lot of people may think, hey, we're here to watch the boys wrestle, but the girls come to wrestle too.
Yeah, this is a great single leg by Brenda. She got in, kind of got extended a little bit, but she drove up to her feet, which as a coach, I'm always preaching to my guys, get to your feet, get to your feet, get to your feet. And she did a fantastic job of getting to her feet, getting her head up, getting her back straight, getting her hips in, good position is what we call that, and getting that finish.
Minute 15 left in this period here. Reyna up 2-0. Louive keeping her on the edge there. Hashtag Believe in Louive. And got one there for the push out.
Yeah, I think it's important for people watching in freestyle, and Greco-Roman wrestling. If you step out of bounds, that edge of the mat rule is what we call it. If you step out of bounds, it's 1 point for your opponent. So it's very important to keep that action in the center of the mat where, we see Lauren getting right back to her underhook and pushing, Brenda to the edge here. And, if I'm Brenda, I want to circle my rear, back to the center like
right
she
there,
just
great
did.
Job right there.
Good job, Coach.
Lauren Louive here with Jordan Humphrey. Humphrey, a popular name in the wrestling world. Reese Humphrey, their dad, a longtime coach there in Ohio.
See Lauren's in on the single leg. She did a good job of getting backside, creating that angle, and now she's trying to trap her legs. Looks like she's looking for a gut wrench, which again is just locking around a person's waist, their gut, and driving to expose them. Brenda really needs to be her left hip down here, and she does that.
If you've never had someone gut wrench you, it's not a fun place to be. They're not just hugging you down there on the mat. It's a lot of pain on the ribs.
It doesn't sound like a fun move, does it?
It doesn't
gut,
say a gut wrench. Yeah.
You know?
I've eaten enough today. I have a gut wrench.
Coach Lay, any of those gut wrenches that you remember looking back, like somebody that you wrestled along the way, like, oh, I remember that one.
You know what? I took time to train with the Greco-Roman team at the Olympic
Smart.
Training Center, trained with Matt Linland. Now it's our Greco coach, trained with the Brad Veerings, and they're actually really skilled at gut wrenches. So the more I spent time with them, the better my gut wrench defense got. So we got the end of the first period here, and Lauren's winning 3-2. So we had a competitive first period. There's a 30-second break, in between each of these two periods, and then we'll clearly have one more 3-minute period after this.
Hashtag Believe in Louive is going to take the lead going into the second period. 3 minutes left of wrestling, 3-2 Louive. Both on pretty good leg attacks, both finished. And then a push out for Louive. So this is a contested match and a lot of wrestling left to do. Good shot
good,
there.
Nice.
Got that
Right
single
back to your
again.
feet.
Yeah, she gets to her feet, drives through. I think she got stunned with her knee a little bit. Checking that out. But Brenda's, she's decided she's going to come out as a shooter second period, and that's how she got the takedown in the first period. And when something's working in wrestling, I've learned something's working really well. There's some wisdom to sticking with the game plan.
That's right.
So here's something for people to see. Since Brenda got that takedown and the refs stopped it, they're going to start Lauren down in what's called parterre, which you've never heard that term before. It's a French word that actually means on the ground, right? So on the mat. So that's where they're starting because Brenda did not get a chance to work from top before.
And they'll get a certain amount of time here to get the turn and then the
Yeah, they'll have approximately, there's not an objective number, but it's usually about 15 seconds, and that's about what they had there.
we always love it as coaches when there's no objective.
Another
Great time to yell. Oh,
Ooh,
great
Another great single leg.
single again. And Louive is hurting here.
She's
Left,
got she's got some instability,
yeah.
looks like, in her knee.
She seemed like she gutted it out through that first injury timeout, but looks like she's having a little bit of a harder time with this one here.
Reyna got in on that double early and kind of popped her right in the knee. I didn't know if it was just, a contact injury or it was a stability injury.
I think it's important to understand tonight, we're putting these matches together, for these athletes to have some fun, to enjoy themselves. The world team trials are not until September. So I think it's important for Lauren and her coach Jordan here just to evaluate, did the benefits really outweigh the cost to continue to wrestle? If you're wrestling in the nationals to qualify for the Olympic trials or the Olympic trials themselves, maybe, but it's a tough decision to make.
And it looks like that's going to be it here tonight. Reyna with the win. Man, prayers for Lauren Louive that she is healthy and she can get back. You see here on the side of the mat, these two ladies have unbelievable respect for each other. One of the things I love about the sport of wrestling, we start with a handshake, we end with a handshake because we appreciate the battle that takes place in between.